welcome. And I'm Muriel. I am the founder and managing director at MGFD. It's a digital marketing consultancy. So all of my slides are going to be in my branding. So quite pink, as you can see in the background. I do love color, so maybe it will brighten up your screens. So not to go into too much detail, don't really like talking about myself, but just so you know that I kind of know what I'm talking about. So I've been working in digital marketing for over 8 years, 9 years now, pretty much. Throughout that time, I spent a few years in Toronto and Canada working as the paid social lead for a global agency, iProspect. So I was working as the paid social lead across the Toronto and Montreal offices, so representing Canada. That's where I worked with all of these big brands, as you can see, Coca-Cola, Diageo, Home Depot, Adidas Canada, Reebok Canada. So having partnerships with Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest, Google, Twitter, Snap, it really gave me an insight into thinking ahead and utilizing what's coming next. And really just, that's what I do with my clients. I'm always like, what is happening now and how can we plan for changes and updates? And as you all know, most of you have e-commerce businesses. This is why you're here today. You know that even the tactics that you used on social media 5 years ago are not really going to work today, particularly with the likes of, you're probably noticing that less people are seeing your posts, that social media has become a kind of a pay to play situation. So I'm going to give you some tips today, a little bit of a toolkit, that things that you can apply organically, so things that you don't need advertising for, and then a few tips for you in terms of when you are ready to advertise and what kind of ads you can do as an e-commerce business. So I'm going to move swiftly on, so just so you kind of know that that's where I'm at. I most recently launched an academy as well. So I do a lot of workshops because I do find that information sharing is important, particularly in this day and age when things are constantly changing. So I'm going to kickstart with an overview of what you need as an e-commerce business. So in order to succeed on the major platforms in terms of social media for e-commerce, we're looking at the likes of Instagram and Facebook. So that's where my focus is for today for all of you. I find that they are probably the two channels that most of you are on yourselves and that you're probably more comfortable with. It's not to overwhelm you. It's just to give you some kind of practical tools as well. So I'll go through things like the Facebook pixel and what that is. And also in terms of having a shoppable, like most of you, if you are e-commerce, have a shoppable website. That's really the basis of where I'm going with the toolkit. So once you have products that you can buy on your website, or products that are available to shop online for your business, then these would be great to apply. And then things like a product catalog, I'll explain what that is. And then talking about things like bringing your products to life, lifestyle imagery, and best practices for content creation, and a couple of tips there as well. So before I get stuck in, I want you to have a look at this. I love sharing this statistic because you've probably put a lot of money and investment into your website, and it probably looks really, really well. It's shoppable. Maybe you got a couple of grants to get you that little bit more ahead in the past year. And really, the amount of effort that you put into your website, you should be putting into your social media, for the simple fact that the younger the demographic get, the more likely that somebody is going to visit your social media page before they visit your website. So if they hear about you, if they think they're going to shop from you, they'll more than likely go straight to your Instagram page or straight to your Facebook page before they go to your site. So the question is, are you ready? Are you ready for traffic on your Facebook page and your Instagram page? So that's something that you need to be thinking about. Am I ready for people to visit my social pages? Are they going to get the same impression of me as my website? So that's just something, again, like the younger that people get, the more likely they are to go to your social pages before your overall site. So just to be ready. So the source for that is We Are Social. So most of my sources are We Are Social, Hootsuite, or Facebook for Business as well, just if people are wondering where the sources are on these. So in terms of selling on social and your toolkit, this is basically number one. So having a Facebook pixel, it allows you to tag those products, to track activity, and to make retargeting more efficient. So if you're not sure if you have one or not. So let's just say some of you are business owners, maybe you have a team working with you, maybe you have an external agency working with you, and you're not quite sure if you have one or not. You can actually get an extension for Chrome called Facebook Pixel Helper. And what that does is when you're on a website, you can click on that and then it shows you whether there is an active pixel there or not, so that you can basically figure out whether you need to create one or not. If you don't have a pixel, if you go into Business Manager or Business Suite, you can create a pixel in there. Now, most of you will have a platform like Magento, like WooCommerce or Shopify or Squarespace Commerce. So the beauty of the pixel is that it integrates quite well with those, because Facebook has e-commerce partners, which are, some of them are on the screen there, but there are other integrations as well. So it makes it really easy for you to integrate your pixel, and it is a step-by-step process as well. So it's pretty much like, if you are not confident with anything in terms of online tools, it's very, very good to say, step 1, do this, step 2, do that. So once you have your pixel integrated, now you can actually track activity on your website. So from every source on your website. So it doesn't have to necessarily come from Facebook or Instagram. It's activity from everywhere. So from Google, from direct, from referrals, etc. And then it allows you then to optimize for sales and optimize for an action. And it also allows you to tag your products more efficiently, because it's real time. So it knows if something is selling, if something is sold out, it's not going to appear, and so on. So it's really good to have a pixel. If you don't have a pixel, that is numero uno that you need to be focusing on. So once you have a pixel, then you'll need to manage your product catalog. So right now, if you have an integration, if you're able to tag products on your Facebook and your Instagram page, that means that you have an active product catalog. And if you need to manage that, if you go into Business Manager or Business Suite, and then you click on the little toolbar, so it's either those 9 icons or it's those 3 lines, depending on the interface that you're looking at. Sometimes it's Business Suite for some, sometimes it's Business Manager for others. Of course, Facebook and Instagram are not fully up to date on everybody's systems, but they will be merging into Business Suite in time. But you access it through the toolbar and you go into Commerce Manager. And what that does is, within your product catalog, it features all of your products, but you can create things like different collections of your products. So maybe you want to highlight ones, for example, for Mother's Day gifting. Have you created, specific gift guides that you want to outline and maybe advertise? So it just gives you the power to be able to have all of your most popular products in one place, or again, categorize them. So again, you can advertise more efficiently, or you can tag products or update your shop according to that too. If you're not set up, if you've just set up your pixel and you haven't your shopping set up, it's quite easy to do. Once you go into Business Manager, you use your normal logins, you click on Commerce Manager, and it gives you a get started with shops. And again, it's quite good to kind of get you moving and show you how to do these. So once you have a Facebook page that's linked to your Instagram account, so make sure that they are linked accounts, then if you're the owner of the page, you can set this up quite quickly and quite efficiently. So this again is your Facebook shop. So if it's live, you'll be able to see the shops tab in your Facebook page. And if you're not set up on Instagram, when you go into your account and you click on the settings icon, you pop yourself into business, you click set up Instagram shopping, and then usually it will say that your application is in for Facebook or for Instagram shopping, and then you get approved over a number of days. Now, you may get disapproved for Instagram shopping if your products are a little bit risque, if they're to do with COVID, if they have kind of different types of like naming conventions that seem like they could be spam or unsuitable. You may have to go into your website and edit something. So you may have to edit things like descriptions, possibly product names to satisfy Instagram. So I know that a lot of people have kind of pivoted their businesses to have things like face masks or hand sanitizer, but those products are rejected by Instagram because it thinks that you're trying to like talk about COVID and manipulate people or brainwash people. So it's like, nope. So then when you do have shopping set up, you'll be able to, when you create your post on Facebook, tag those products on Facebook. So when people see your post, they can tap on the picture or the video, and they'll see your products be brought directly to the website. And on Instagram, again, you'll get this additional feature that says tag products. So if you have come this far and you already have that set up, what are you doing next? Are you kind of leaving it and tagging a couple of products here and there? Or are you preparing for the fact that e-commerce on social media isn't going anywhere? And things like Facebook Marketplace and even Instagram shopping, we all have, most of us will have the updated Instagram app where it's basically like, do you want to go shopping? Like, it has a new tab at the bottom of the app. It's set up. It's really building out its shops section. So it's not just shops that you follow, it's suggested shops. So if you go into the tab, you'll see that it says shops for you, and most of these you don't follow. So if you're set up on Instagram shopping, then you need to think about things like, is my Instagram shop or is my Facebook shop, do they reflect my business? Is the imagery in there, does it look well? Does my first initial image give people a good impression? And you can manage how all of this looks in Commerce Manager as well if you're unsure as to how to edit them. But thinking about, like, this is why I want you to think about how your products look, because that's the impression that people are getting. They're not able to go into your shop, pick things up, look at them, smell them, feel them. They have to go off of those images. And if you have poor quality images, or if you have images that just don't stand out, then you're not going to get as much out of it as you had planned, because people are very visual. So for example, and I have no affiliation with these businesses. These are just for my training purposes. But for example, just having a look at these images. So as you can see, these are products on a white background, whereas the other jewelers has lifestyle imagery, even just incorporating some branding behind it, and they're taken differently. The other are supplier pictures, whereas these ones are ones the jewelers actually took themselves. So again, thinking about that, like, do you have the resources to potentially create things like lifestyle photography? And if you don't, then you can always buy some card in your local stationery shop, colored card, place your products on top of them, and start taking photos that don't necessarily have product on a white background. Start to be a bit more creative and bring your products to life as well. So things like in situation photography, model imagery. If your resources are limited, take them yourselves. I'll show you a couple of tools that you can use in order to bring your products to life as well. But just think about the mentality that somebody has if they don't know who you are, and the visual aspect of, are your products shoppable? Do they look well? Are they in situ? Can I imagine what they're like in my home, in my hand, on my body? So if you're not sure how to even take these, if you don't have a lot of resources and you want to just take a picture of your product, remove the background and add maybe a pattern or a block color. In Canva, if some of you have Canva, you can go in there and you can upload your picture. And when you click on that picture, you can click on effects and use the background remover. And once that's done, go into background and then change the color. If you want a textured background, if you want maybe a video background, and that just, again, it brings your product to life, and you can change it even into your brand colors. You can also use smart mockups as well if you want to use that new feature that's on Canva. Other apps as well, I really like ClipDrop. It's a new kind of AR tool. So again, you take a photo of your product, it basically creates a transparent background for it, and you can pop that on anything. If you're taking any product photography, take it on a blank background, so then at least it's easy to remove that background as well. And if you want a kind of an easy to use photography and videography app that you can use on your phones, I know that maybe your resources are low and everybody's on their phones nowadays. PixArt is another kind of new app that is really good for editing as well, just on the go, so that you can kind of add that little bit more to your products or to your photos and to your videos. And then using Reels. So Instagram Reels are everywhere. They're not going anywhere. Facebook have announced yesterday that they're testing Reels as well. So if you're not on Reels, get on Reels. I could spend 5 hours talking about Reels, but I'm very conscious of time. But the takeaway is, start using them. You can tag your products in Reels as well. And once somebody taps on your product, it opens your shop. So again, thinking about that funnel, how can I get that awareness? Because Reels allows you to reach people who don't follow you. There is a virality element to Reels right now as well, because it's a relatively new product. It's getting hierarchy in the feed. So you have the potential to reach new audiences as well, which is invaluable. So if you have products tagged, then you'll be able to get people to your shop. So another thing as well, organically, is if you find that maybe your reach is not going so far, look at your insights. So hop on into your insights in your Instagram page, hop on into your insights in your Facebook page, look at the best times to be posting, look at your content interactions, filter them by your shopping post or filter them by metric, and just see what content performs best and do more of that. Like I always say, learn from yourself. Like your competitors could be doing different things that work well with their audiences, but your content could be different as well. So try not to look at everybody else. Try to look at yourself as your biggest learning platform, and your biggest competitor is your previous self. So thinking about month over month, year over year of how did I do last year? How can I better that, as opposed to kind of getting distracted by competitors. And then looking at your insights in more detail, like when you click the view insights button, swipe up, it gives you more information. It shows you where your content is getting the most traction as well. So just organically, looking at things like how you can upgrade or make your product imagery look that little bit better so it's more attractive for people who are visiting your shops. Tag products where you can. Use reels to get more traction and more people looking at your content, and use your insights to learn about what's actually working for your business. So it's all about doing the work, but looking back and seeing how did that actually perform, so you're not kind of plateauing. And then finally, I wanted to show you some e-commerce campaigns that you can do if you decide to put an advertising budget behind your content. So it's now time to drive sales. So let's just say if you're like tick, 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 organic, sorted, that's working for me. Now I'm ready to grow. Now I'm ready to put a little bit more budget behind my campaigns, because I feel confident enough that I can drive it now into like prospecting audiences and get more sales. So using campaigns in Ads Manager, please don't boost your posts. Please don't press the promote post button. I was not paid by Facebook to say that. It is best practices. I want you to get into a campaign mentality. Use Ads Manager. Do not use on-platform tools, because this way you can actually optimize for exactly what you want. You can target the exact audiences, and you have much more control over your optimizations and your budget. So please create campaigns. So I could, again, talk about this for 40 million hours, but I'm just going to focus on a couple of these. Now, the conversion side of the objectives when you are creating a campaign, this is kind of where you want to be. So you want to be creating campaigns that drive sales if you are confident enough that you've driven that organic reach as well. So first off, these are carousel units. So you can optimize these for conversions. If you have your pixel in place, you can optimize for that action because it's tracking it on your website. But try to, set up these as carousels. Target people from your pixel who've been on your website and exclude those people who haven't purchased from you. Really build that audience of people who are kind of middle of funnel, ready now to convert. And then using the product photography. So if you have lifestyle photography, amazing. If you only have kind of stock or product photography, mix it up. Like use image splitter. If you literally Google image splitter and split that bad boy up into 3 separate parts, that looks way more engaging than a boring shoe on a white background if you're stuck for resources. And use that carousel for sales and drive that. And you can measure how much it costs for people to purchase from you, in addition to getting your return on ad spend on the platform. And then you can also use things like instant experiences. So if your website is taking forever to load, again, you can do the Google speed test, pop your website in there. It tells you how much your site is affected by slow loading and how you actually rate out of 100 for mobile loading speed and desktop loading speed, which can affect your bounce rate. So remember that you need to be creating this good experience for people going to your site. If not, you can create an instant experience within the platform, and you can create this lovely little mini landing page for people and allow them to discover your products and link then out to your website. Additionally, you can also do collections units if you have a product catalog as well. So you have your hero image, and then you can just tag your products underneath, or have your collection that you created earlier, for example, your Mother's Day gift guide and so on. So there's loads that you can do with that. And again, that opens instantly. So if you're having website issues, that opens instantly, and they're shoppable as well. So then finally, because I'm conscious of time, dynamic product ads. If you're not doing these and you have been selling online, or if you have been doing some campaigns and you have a product catalog and you have a pixel and you have a budget, create dynamic product ads. These are those ads that when you look at that pair of shoes and then you leave the website and they're following you everywhere you go. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. And you're like, how? It's because you've brought them back into your life, and that company's like, no, we're not going to let you get away with this. We're going to keep serving you this until you buy it. Those ads are dynamically served to people based off of the fact that they viewed them on the website, but they did not purchase. So amazing, right? The return on ad spend is fantastic on these, and they're kind of one that you can switch on and let it run and like get your return on ad spend and see exactly how they're performing. So the beauty of them, you can scale them, you can leave them on and optimize as you go. They are cross device and they're also dynamically relevant. So I won't see a product that that I haven't viewed on the website, and also it will stop showing it to me after a while if I'm not showing interest in it. So again, when you are setting those up, you're going to be saying retarget these who've interacted with your products on and off Facebook. And then again, like in terms of eBay and how they did theirs, you can say inspired, take another look. So you're not reintroducing your brand. They already know who you are. They've already looked at your products, and you can dynamically have the product name and the price appearing then. So then people are a little bit more enticed. And if I viewed more than one product, they will appear in a carousel versus a single card. And then just trying to entice people. So what's going to make them make that extra step into, okay, I'll buy it? Do you have things like free delivery if you spend a certain amount? Do you have things like next day delivery? Can you offer them 10% off with a code? Like trying to like push them down the funnel and getting them to convert is the best thing that you can do. And then literally the quickest tips in the world, engage to appear. So if you are struggling with your reach, are you showing up enough? Are you actually interacting with your followers? Do you have 10,000 followers and you're following 5 people? You need to look at your business as we need to interact, connect with our customers and create advocacy. Because if you don't show up for them, you won't show up on their feeds. So be interactive and talk to your followers. Don't talk at them. Things like allhashtag.com or display purposes are great for creating hashtags, and they'll give you 30 hashtags you can copy and paste into your campaigns if you're stuck for hashtags. And finally, localize your campaigns. A lot of you are local businesses, so use the location tags on Facebook and use the location tags on Instagram organically. So that again is telling Instagram and Facebook where you are, so it can actually show it more locally as well to you, which helps with your organic reach, and potentially on Instagram helps you show up on the explore page to people living in that area. And there we go. If anybody has questions, I know there was a couple in here. I know I also sped up towards the end because I have a timer here and it was like, 20 minutes. Oops. So, okay. So do you keep the number of products on Facebook and Instagram low or refresh? No, you can, like, if you have all of your products available, then have all of your products showing in your product catalog and have it showing in your shops. But in Commerce Manager, create collections. So create different collections, so you can have like best sellers up top, especially for people who are visiting your page for the first time. What if I have my own Shopify? Do I still need to set up a shop on Facebook? Absolutely not, Derek. Connect those, go into Shopify. There's either a plugin for Facebook or there's an option to connect your Facebook page. Shopify is the best integration platform for Facebook and Instagram, so you'll be able to set up your shops from there. What's a good return on ad spend? That's hard, Graham. Like, I think like it depends on your investment, right? Like, I think if you're getting twice or 3 times the return, amazing. But like over Black Friday, I had a return of 130 something, and I was like, oh my God, but that's rare. So I'm not going to say that. But like literally, like you can see a return on ad spend when you're doing Facebook ads, when you have a pixel set up. And literally, if you're getting twice, 3 times your investment back, amazing. Any more than that, again, you're onto a winner. And the hashtags on Facebook, you can there's no limit of hashtags, but I wouldn't be overloading your Facebook captions with hashtags either, because like it's kind of different to Instagram where people are like, whoa, you're using a lot of hashtags. Wow, there's a lot of things coming in here. How would you interact with your potential customers if you're running a clothing shop online? Literally, like if you find them online, like tag them in some new post if you're like, this would look fab on you, or literally share your story with them and be like this would look amazing on you. We know you'd love it. And just like comment on their things, like wish them a happy birthday if it's their birthday. Tell them they look great in pictures. Like listen, if they're having a bad day, like send them a couple of hearts, like be like, hope you're okay, thinking of you, like act like be a brand persona as opposed to just a brand talking at people. Whoa, there's a lot. Niall, cut me off if I have to stop.
Well, I tell you, you're brilliant. You need your own show. You're like a goddess. It's unbelievable. Everybody, the chat and the people saying thank you to, it's phenomenal, and it's brilliant. Muriel, you're phenomenal. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks. I don't know. Do you want me to do you want me to continue or
yeah, go 5 minutes if they have other questions.
Okay, so all right, so I noticed Facebook promotes that I spend a minimum of 100 per campaign. Do you have a rough estimate? Okay, so Facebook will always say, hey, do you want to spend an extra $24.75 and you'll reach 6,702 people? And you're like, oh, that seems like something I should do. That's a sales tactic. I would say that look at, start doing a small budget, small amount of campaigns, and learn your own costs. So instead, you're not going, how much should I spend? You're going, how many people do I want on my website? Oh, I know it costs me an average of 23 cents per click. So I'm going to work that way. I'm going to say, okay, do I want 100 people on my website? 100 multiplied by your average cost per click, that's your budget. Because if you talk to people, if you talk to like agencies or anybody who manages budgets and you go, how much should I spend? They'll go, how much do you have? And then you'll go, yeah, but how much do you think I should spend? And they'll go, but how much is your budget? So I would work from your actions and then base your budget on the amount of actions you want on your site. The iOS changes, basically, if you're in your ads manager, there is a section called Resource Center. It's a new section in Ads Manager, and that's going to tell you how your site might be affected or how your campaigns might be affected. It has a lovely checklist of things. Ideally, what you're going to do is verify your domain in Business Manager, in Business Settings, or in Business Suite. You verify your domain so then you can optimize for things like your conversions, and you can say what priority they are to your business. Sorry, I know I'm talking a mile a minute. And I think that's there. I think that's the questions. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen because I know there might be some in the Q&A. Can I access that? Oh, I can. How did you get Insta and Google Shopping compatible? White backgrounds are essential for shopping and images. So yeah, so basically when you have your images on your website, I would have multiple pictures so that you at least can kind of in your catalog, when you are creating your collections, you can then kind of say you can select what images to choose from your website in your Instagram catalog. So if you have to have product on a white background for the likes of Google Shopping through Merchant Center, then in your Instagram, tag that URL for the image as Instagram. And then when you're creating your product catalog, you can filter that and categorize it by your tags. And then Justin just said Muriel, so I don't know what he wanted to say. So there we go. I'll stop talking now.
What do I do here? This is like following Elvis, just brilliant, Muriel. Thank you very much. That's just phenomenal. Muriel is you're doing courses, aren't you, Muriel? In this.
Yeah, so I set up my academy a couple of weeks ago, and I'm doing workshops for small businesses. So I have workshops on paid social, I have beginners and advanced, I have a specific e-commerce workshop as well. And I have a workshop for TikTok and a workshop for any Instagram updates, which has an emphasis on Reels at the minute as well. So mgfd.ie/academy.
I'm signing on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Niall.